Hey, what's up, y'all? Dan back at you with another video. This is a TWAB or TWID, whatever you want to talk about, video response video. I wanted to talk about the changes to the economy system that we're getting, the good, the bad, and the shrug, if you will. This is one of those videos that you really don't need to watch, just listen to. Just gonna throw up some day one contest quota in the background. First off, I wanted to just read word for word what in the TWAB today they talked about as far as they're getting rid of more economy materials, the why, the what's going to happen to them, how soon they're going to be changing them. Be honest with us, Guardians. How many legendary shards do you have? Not that we are judging, although Drifter is probably proud of your methods. Whatever the answer, we are starting the process to deprecate this currency in Destiny 2. To speak in more detail about it, we'll give the room to the Destiny Economy team. As many Destiny players already know, legendary shards have long been an unstable part of the economy in Destiny 2. Some players have more than they will ever be able to spend, while others struggle to earn enough to engage with the systems that require legendary shards as a cost. This often made it hard to find legendary shard costs that would feel impactful to players, while also ensuring that the content that did require legendary shards could be enjoyed by all players, no matter how long or how much they played. Couple the legendary shard wealth disparity with the fact that we have seen more than a few loopholes players have found to farm, our regards to Raul and Eva Levante, as well as more recently Ikora, we have made the decision that it is time to simplify the economy by removing its currency from the game. For a long time now, it's been our goal to make the game easier to understand and to reduce bloat of currencies, consumables, and items, while ensuring that players feel like their time is valued for how long they've spent playing the many activities across the game. Sometimes we get this right, sometimes we don't. We always learn. As much as we know how bad it feels to have currencies that you have amassed over a long period of time wiped away, please know that we don't make the decision to remove them lightly. We truly believe the removal is in the best interest of both the game and the players. As you will see below, we are doing our best to ensure that the removal of legendary shards is not a point of pain, but rather the removal of a barrier. After this, they go into more detail about what's going to be changing, what the cost of things are going to be, and how there's going to be a heavier influence on just Glimmer. They also talk about how Glimmer is not getting increased anymore as in their systems, and they feel that they do not need to have Glimmer increased anymore. They also mentioned that legendary shards will also be disappearing from the currency bar in your inventory, and it will only show Glimmer, Silver, and Bright Dust numbers. Looking over the entire system from the beginning of Destiny 1, the beginning of Destiny 2 to now, it's pretty obvious that the whole terminology of MMO, RPG, action shooter thing is kind of lost now. More and more it seems that they are focusing more on players who, haven't played a long time. And while that is a good thing, you gotta find a way to get your new players in. More and more, they are just removing things from players who have played a long time. Now, I myself have a massive amount of legendary shards, and I just haven't had much need to use them. But there are times when I do use them, and it's nice to have that overflow or reflux, if you will, of materials. And I understand that there's no way they can balance, material costs for a player like myself, over 50,000. And there's been multiple times that I've drained my entire legendary shard material, amount for just getting a perfect roll of something from Raul. I remember doing it for Old Fashioned, for Dire Promise, Long Shadow. I've done it for a whole bunch of Trials weapons as well. And it's one of those things that's just, how do you make it, somewhat beneficial and making it to where it's a no-brainer for someone like myself to just dump a bunch of shards in, and there's no issue, there's no choices made. How do you create that type of system for a player like myself? And that's the tough thing, especially like they said, which I think the biggest reason that they're making this change is because of how many times people have had these AFK legendary farms in the tower. And it's one of those things that I get that this is probably making it more difficult for them to figure out how to make something impactful for the player, and making me decide, do I want to spend my materials on getting this thing? It's tough. I'm not a developer. I'm not saying it's a developer, but I wouldn't be surprised if sooner or later, if legendary shards are going away, we might just have, like they said, silver, bright dust, and glimmer. And who's to say sooner or later in the future, if they continue changing stuff, they don't do the same thing to bright dust? What if they make a thing where we only have, glimmer and silver, and that's it? And it's interesting pathing that they're looking to take us down, especially with the final shape. If this is a RPG light, if this is a MMO light, whatever you want to call it, and one of the core systems in those type of games are a bunch of materials and consumables and all that stuff, if every couple of years they're going to get rid of it, a lot of people might ask themselves, what's the point? What's the point for having all of these materials? What's the point of having all these upgrade things if they're just going to constantly get rid of them over time? And I get it. You want to allow something for your new players to, easily access. I get that. But you have to have systems in place that a new player can look towards and want to, move and push towards. I want to be able to get this stuff and not just play the game once a season and instantly get everything. I understand FOMO. I understand barrier of entry. I get that. But it's almost to the point where they just want players to just dip in and dip out whenever, without having any losses as far as how much they play, how little they play, when and how they play, and how often they play. This is a tad bit of just confusion in regards to this. I get that they need to figure out what they need to do with like legendary shards, because some people have a whole lot, but you can make the argument that bright dust, some people have infinite amount of bright dust, and the same thing there. What's stopping them from sooner or later just, deleting bright dust and making it even more difficult for players to gain, whatever it is in the store, and the only way to get it is through silver. It's not all gloom and doom. I don't want to make it that way. But we do know that Bungie has a history of 1 step forward, 2 steps back. So with the removal of legendary shards, it could be a new grind that just makes it almost impossible to earn the things that you're looking to earn, in exchange for allowing things to be a little bit more accessible for a new player who's just coming into the game. I get that they're doing this probably because they want to keep as many players with the final shape as possible, but we just have to wait and see. It is nice that they are somewhat leveling the playing field a little bit more, and I've already looked at the tweets, and a lot of people, for the most part, are excited about this legendary shard removal. But there are some people that make some really good arguments about why this is a slippery slope type of thing. For the last year and a half, we've seen nothing but materials just get removed and removed and removed. And who's to say that basically we'll get to the point where, like I said, we just have glimmer and we have silver. So who knows? Just gotta wait and see. You don't want to think this too soon. Just gotta wait until next season. But it should be interesting seeing how the game is supposed to be an MMORPG light type of thing. But how do you make an MMORPG light without, materials and consumables and things like that? It will be interesting. So that's all I have for you. If you feel a certain type of way about the legendary shard removal, let me know in the comment section. I would love, if any video, I would love to hear your comments on it. Should be interesting. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.